Hey everybody, Ryan here at etrailer.com. Today on our 2019 Chrysler Pacifica, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the CURT Class 3 2-inch trailer hitch receiver. Many of our Pacifica customers plan on using their vans to do a little bit of everything. That's why I really like this hitch. Since it is a Class 3 and has that 2-inch by 2-inch opening, the amount of accessories you're going to be able to find that'll work with it is more or less endless. And it's going to have some pretty high weight capacities too. Now, as far as a maximum gross tongue weight rating, that's going to be 400 pounds, the amount of weight pushing down on our hitch. So that's going to be good for those large cargo carriers and those 1 to 4 bike racks. Now, as far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating goes, that's going to be 4,000 pounds, or the amount of weight pulling on our hitch. So that's the weight of your trailer plus everything you might have on it. Now, this hitch can be used with the weight distribution system, which is a separate component, but if you're using that, the weight capacities do increase. The maximum tongue weight goes up to 500 pounds, and the maximum gross trailer weight goes up to 5,000 pounds. Now, it is always a good idea to check with your owner's manual to make sure your van can pull that much weight. Now, even though our hitch is mostly visible, it's going to sit a little further back and contour nicely to the van's body lines. That's going to help it blend in pretty good. And there is an upside to that visibility. It's going to give us some pretty good clearance. What I mean by that, the end of our receiver tube is going to sit just behind the edge of our bumper. And that's going to work really well with those folding accessories. Our hitch is going to have a reinforced collar for extra strength and a gloss black powder coat finish. And that'll help resist any rust or corrosion. It's also going to have the standard size 5/8 pinhole. Now, keep in mind, a pin and clip does not come included, but if you need one, you can find it here at eTrailer. Now, the safety chain openings are plate style, and they're not very large or super open, but they are going to give us enough room and space to use even a good size hook. So all in all, a good overall versatile hitch. Now, if you're looking for a good bike rack that works really well with this setup, I'd recommend the Thule Helium Pro. And if you do plan on doing some towing, I'd recommend picking up some trailer wiring. That way your lights on your trailer will work and you'll be safe and legal. Now I'm going to give you a couple of measurements. And you're going to use these to help figure out which hitch mounted accessories to get. From the ground to the top inside edge of our receiver tube opening, that's about 12 inches. So chances are pretty good you're going to need to get a ball mount with a rise. From the center of the hitch pinhole to the edge of our rear bumper, that's going to be about 4 inches. And you're going to use that to help figure out if any folding accessories you might have can be stored in the upright position without contacting our bumper. Now, some of our customers said they had a little bit of trouble getting the hitch on during the installation process. That's okay. I'll go ahead and walk you through how to do it now. To begin our installation, we're first going to need to remove our underbody panel. So to do that, we're going to take out 6 8mm screws along the bottom edge of our bumper, as well as 2 over here on the driver's side. Now here on the driver's side wheel well, we're going to have 4 more 8mm screws that we need to take out. There'll be 2 on this bottom edge, and then 2 more up here on the side. Now here in the center, we're going to have 2 10mm bolts that we'll take out. And once these are out of the way, we can kind of pull this panel down some, and that'll expose these other 2 10mm nuts that we'll take out too. Now we're going to have 5 more 10mm nuts we need to take down as well. Now we're going to have 2 Phillips head plastic fasteners that we need to loosen up, and when we do have them loose, our whole panel should come down. Sometimes you're going to have to kind of put some downward pressure on the panel while you're unscrewing those to get them to come completely free. Now we can work our panel from underneath our vehicle and set it off to the side. Before we lower our exhaust, it's a good idea to use a strap and run it from side to side That way the exhaust will have a little bit of support. We're going to have two rubber isolator hangers that we need to take off. One right here next to our tailpipe, and one back here. Now to get these off, it's a good idea to spray them down with some soapy water or some penetrating oil. And we'll use a pry bar to work that hanger off of the exhaust. Now we're going to take our heat shield off. That's going to be held in place by two 10mm nuts. Now we can trim our heat shield. Now there is a diagram in the instructions, and what I did was just went ahead and made some marks where we're going to cut. Now I'm going to use some tin snips to get this section cut out. And here's what our heat shield is going to look like once we have it cut out. So now we can reinstall our heat shield. At this time, we're only going to secure it with one 10mm nut back here. So now over here on the driver's side, we're going to have two attachment points. And those holes will be this one and this one. To get our hardware in place, we're going to be using the fish wire technique. So what we'll do is take one of our included fish wires, we're going to take the coiled end, put it through the hole, and push it towards the front of the van, and we're going to want that coiled end to drop down of our access hole back here. Now once we have it drop down through that opening, what we're going to do is take a spacer block, put that over the coiled end. We're going to take a carriage bolt and thread that onto the fish wire. Now we can feed our hardware into that opening and pull it back until it drops out of our hole there. Now for this attachment point, it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to use the reverse fish wire technique. So we'll take the coiled end of our fish wire, put a spacer block over it, and another carriage bolt. Thread that on. We can push that bolt up into the frame, followed by the spacer block. And we can work it back down until it drops down through the hole. And on the driver's side only, there is going to be a stud coming down from the frame with a 10mm nut on it. And what we're going to do is just take that nut off. On the passenger side, we're going to have three attachment points. We're going to use these two openings as well as this one. Now this one, we'll use the reverse fish wire technique to get our hardware in place. And for these two, we're just going to use the regular fish wire technique. And these will use all the same hardware that the driver's side used. Now with an extra set of hands, we're going to put our hitch into place. We're going to put our fish wires through the corresponding holes in the hitch. Once we have it against the frame, we can remove one of our fish wires and secure it using a flange nut. You want to get one started on each side, that way the hitch will support itself while we finish up with the rest of the hardware. With all of our hardware in place and hand tight, now we can snug it all down. Now using a torque wrench, we can tighten everything down to the amount specified in the instructions. Now at this point, what you could do is trim your underbody panel according to the diagram and the instructions. Now our customer for now has just decided to leave the underbody panel off, so we're going to skip this step. However, I wanted to give you an idea of what it would look like when it is cut. This piece of tape here is about the exact same size and length of the cut that you would need to make. Now this is relatively thin, kind of almost like a cardboard, so you could use some snips, a Dremel tool, or even a utility knife to make that cut. And once you have that cut out, you'd simply just put it back into position and re-secure it in the opposite order that we removed it. Now we can rehang our exhaust back into position. With it supporting itself now, we can remove our strap. And that'll do it for our look at and our installation of the CURT Trailer Hitch receiver on our 2019 Chrysler Pacifica.